Good evening. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Hofstra Athletics Pride Club golf outing and Hall of Fame induction ceremony. I'm your host, Sadiq Faruqi, and I'm so glad to share this moment with you tonight. We'd like to extend a special thank you to the Sea Wing Club and Gabriella Wood for all of her assistance today and in the months, weeks, and days leading up to the program. Thank you so much. We would also like to thank our major sponsors for this outing. Title sponsor Anthony Paratini and Signature Bank. Platinum sponsor Jose Rodriguez and Compass Group USA. Platinum sponsor The Commencement Group. Brunch sponsor Mike Ryan and the Lantec Group. Reception sponsor WB Mason. Cocktail sponsor Tom Brady and Liberty Coke. Tom McBrady. And of course, our golfer gift sponsor Rob Smalley and Sports Depot. We would also like to send a thank you to all of our whole NT sponsors. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to begin the program by welcoming Hofstra University President Dr. Susan Poser to the podium. Dr. Poser has been an outstanding supporter of Hofstra Athletics in her first year as president and has been a great leader of Hofstra University. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Susan Poser.
Thank you, Sadiq. Well, good evening and welcome to Hofstra University Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Very happy to see you all here today. I had a big day myself. It was my first time ever playing golf, so I want to thank Joe Elliott for the 2 lessons, and all the mistakes were my own, though. I realized today what a great thing it was for me to do in my job, because now whenever I'm having a bad day and thinking that I have a very hard job, I can just tell myself that at least I'm not trying to hit a little ball with a 3-wood. So in that way, it was very therapeutic for me, but not for the caddy, I don't think. I also want to acknowledge and welcome Joey D'Antonio, Joey D., the Commissioner of the Colonial Athletic Association. Thank you for joining us tonight, Joey. And I was also delighted to see Joe and Mary Mihalik here today. Where are you? There you are, back there. Welcome. Thank you for being here. So I cannot help thinking back to this event last year, because it was actually my very first public event as the new president of Hofstra. And it was such a great way to start with such a great group of people. This also, therefore, signifies the beginning of the second cycle of my presidency, where not absolutely everything is new, aside from the golf. So starting round 2 is something later. Tonight's inductees have an amazing array of accomplishments as record setters in their sport, successful people in their respective fields, and dedicated members of their communities. Each of you is a shining example of the fact that Hofstra not only nurtures our students' athletic ability as undergraduates, but also sets them up for success in their lives and their careers. Anyone who knows anything about collegiate sports, and really any organized sport, knows that it is first and foremost about dedication, hard work, and leadership, all skills that are also critical to being successful in one's career and in one's life. Luckily, this year, unlike the previous, our athletic program was able to get back to something approximating normal, even though it required that everyone continue to adapt to pandemic challenges and protocols. And with this, as well as all of the usual pressures of being a college athlete, our student athletes not only competed well, but managed to achieve a combined 3.40 grade point average during the spring 2022 semester. and that is the 20th semester in a row of a grade point average over 3.0. On top of this, I'm also very proud to say that there were 4 academic All-Americans and 11 academic All-District honorees, and the Hofstra wrestling program finished the year with the 2nd highest GPA of all of NCAA Division I wrestling. So let's give our wrestlers a big round of applause. And of course, on the field, what an incredible year. 3 Hofstra teams, women's soccer, men's soccer, and baseball, won the Colonial Association Championship and qualified for the NCAA tournament. This marked the most CAA championships in a single year since the 2012-2013 year. The baseball program qualified for the NCAA regionals for the first time in the program's 84-year history. In men's basketball, we had an amazing win against 24-ranked Arkansas and some very, very close loses, near misses at Maryland and Houston. And great things happened in all of our sports. I myself was also able to see some terrific wins in volleyball and in softball. Yay, volleyball and softball. Our individual athletes were honored in multiple ways, including 6 All-Americans, 4 CAA Players of the Year, and 5 CAA Rookies of the Year. Lucy Porter from women's soccer and Hendrik Hebeker from men's soccer each captured the overall CAA Scholar Athlete of the Year title. And women's lacrosse student Kara Scanio was the recipient of the Yardley Reynolds Love Unsung Hero Award for the Division I women's lacrosse. That's just huge. The student athletes, as you can all tell, are absolutely amazing and a wonderful asset to our campus as they model leadership and dedication. But let's also acknowledge the amazing coaches and the staff who nurture this talent and work so hard to develop it in the context of developing the whole person that each of these athletes is. I want to give a special shout out to our extraordinary first-year coaches who are adding so much to Hofstra. Men and women's tennis coach, Richard Zappala. Are you here? I got to meet Richard today. Yes. He saw me golf, so he's sworn to secrecy. Women's softball coach Adrian Clark, also sworn to secrecy. Where is she? Is she here? Men's basketball coach Speedy Claxton. Yay. And of course, baseball coach Frank Catalanato. And of course, the leader, the conductor, the warrior-in-chief of Hofstra Athletics is Vice President Rick Cole, who walks the walk every day as an example of integrity, collegiality, and compassion. And so let's take a moment to recognize Rick and the entire Hofstra Athletics staff. Stand up. Will the whole staff please stand up, the whole athletic staff? And let us honor you. So thank you again for being here to share this exciting evening with us. Welcome, and go Pride.
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Hofstra University President Dr. Susan Poser. Thank you, President Poser. Ladies and gentlemen, time now to hear from Hofstra University Vice President and Director of Athletics, Rick Cole Jr., who just completed his 4th full year here at Hofstra University. Ladies and gentlemen, Rick Cole Jr.
Thanks, Sadiq. It's almost. It's off? We're good? It's almost as bad as my golf game. I'm hoping that you all had a wonderful day of golf. It was a great day, and I, in all seriousness, hope that you contribute to your team better than I did. But it was a great day. It's a special day, and similar to the president, this was one of my first, it actually was my first public event when I became AD 4 years ago. One of the things that makes today so special is that for those of you who participated in golf, you got the opportunity to meet the student athletes and the coaches on all of the holes throughout the course, so we are reminded of who we are here to support. They are a special group of very appreciative men and women that represent this great institution. But tonight we bridge the present and our future by celebrating our past. And that really makes today incredibly special. So I'd like to take a moment to talk about the gratitude and certainly recognize first our recipients, and I'll be very quick because there's great videos that are coming. Liz Curley, everybody says I'm biased towards volleyball, and the coaches will probably agree with that. They're right, Liz, just so you know. But Liz's photo actually, ironically, is right outside my office in the main suite, and I'm pretty much saying the volleyball photo can stay. So congratulations. Liz was one, and you'll see this, but one of the interesting highlights is that, and I always look at Cindy wherever she is to make, or Steven to make sure I'm getting this all correct, is that I think Liz is, was the offensive leader on the only NCAA winning volleyball team we had. So we have one victory in the NCAA tournament, thanks to, in large part to you, Liz. You said it wasn't that bad either, but you were the one with that led the way. Coach Danowski, who unfortunately can't be here because he's traveling with USA Lacrosse, but Dino, John, Coach, however you referred to him, had an incredible legacy here, and many of you know that he's gone on and had an incredible successful run at Duke University, winning multiple national championships. Bridget Eder Harris is, you know, they say the vacuum shattering ground ball records. As a defensewoman in lacrosse, it's always a little bit more challenging because often is the case that people really love the offensive categories and the statistics that go with it. But when you hear people talk about Bridget, the words described was, you know, if there was a 50-50 ball, you weren't coming out with it if you were going in with her. So where is Edith? Can she raise her hand? I'm sure. Congratulations. Enjoy today. Just to make sure that we are all on the same page, we have 2 national champions at Hofstra. 2. I'm thrilled that our coaches have committed to ensuring that number grows quickly. But we get to offer to honor Laura Walker Carson as our one of 2 national champions. Charles Jenkins, as impressive as he is and was as a player, I think the thing I've always been so, and I didn't have the privilege, I certainly know who Charles was and followed his career, but I wasn't at Hofstra at the time. But when you hear people talk about Charles and how successful he was athletically, the thing I hear people say all the time is what an incredible, wonderful person he was, the consummate leader, the campus person that went to everyone else's games, and how much everybody loved this young man and how he continued to thrive. And you know, I was asked earlier on video what makes it special is that you see people that came to Hofstra, even if they were giving other opportunities after they made their commitment, and still came, that just became the best version of themselves and raised the entire institution. I think Charles is a great example of that. So congratulations, Charles. And we will also get a chance to honor Cindy Lewis, who I will be back up here in a little bit to talk about. So I'm going to press pause, Cindy, sorry. You know, I often talk about there's a great responsibility when you're in the presence of your history to know that we use the expression standing on the shoulders of giants, and I'm really proud of the men and women that do that every day. It's a responsibility they take very seriously. And obviously when you're inducting some of the legends of our program, you are the giants whose shoulders we stand on. So know that we take this incredibly, incredibly serious. I'd also like to quickly recognize a couple other awards and say thank you to them because I won't be a part of that verbal presentation, but the Marciada Award recipients, Tony and Catherine Peratini Thank you guys so much for all you do. The Lenz Award, Dr. Beth Rosenberg as well. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. And what I often try to remind folks, and I think those who have played sports know this very well, there's so much that goes on behind the scenes. And I am a proud member of the President's Cabinet. And I would like to thank Dr. Poser and her husband Steve. They have been incredible supporters in every way. But I certainly am thankful for the team that I get to be a part of. And I would like to, I won't go name by name because I'd probably get yelled at and they get embarrassed, but I would like the two tables here to be recognized, past and present. You are the reason why you look through the lens of how do we help everybody. So to the cabinet that supports our athletics program right here, if you could just at least raise your hand so we could say thank you. So Dr. Poser talked very briefly about the winning. As competitors, I think we really recognize that winning is really, really hard. And whether you're competing to, in your construction job, if you're competing to be the best teacher you could be, if you're balancing a budget and you want to be the very best to maximize that strategy, it takes an incredible collective effort to win. And it's something we're very committed to, but winning the right way. Being committed to winning academically, being committed to winning in the community, being committed to winning in strengthening and raising the profile of our institution. So to our athletes and coaches out there that are committed to that brand of winning, you know how hard it is, and we thank you for all you do. I would like to just, again, recognize the three teams specifically because I think the stories are unique. You see, because everybody could talk about what facility you have. You could talk about your budgets. You can talk about, I probably shouldn't say this in front of the CFO and president, but I'm going to. But at the end of the day, people win. And you look at the winning that was done. We'll talk just about the three championships. Women's soccer, who Simon, of all you know, is just one of the greatest coaches I think that's out there. He just figures it out, knows how to win, knows how to recruit, knows how to train, makes no excuses, goes to the second round of the NCAA tournament again, because that's what Simon does. But the best part about Simon is he'll tell you everything he should have done differently to make sure they got to the third round. But winning is part of that culture because we have the right people and recruit the right people. Our men's soccer journey was outrageous this year. And if you didn't follow, let me just give you a little insight here. We went on to the Sweet 16. We went on to play the Big Ten champions and scored 8 unanswered goals. 8. I'd never seen anything like it live in my life. So where is the mad Richie? Where is he? Congratulations to you and the boys, a great group of young men. Incredible. And we love the story of baseball. I mean, we're going to keep telling, so you picked us last, huh? Okay, great. And I think that's probably what we'll get on the back of whatever sweatshirts you guys get. And they picked us last. But nobody told this staff, right? And certainly Frank is, the leader of that staff, and, great leaders surround themselves with great people. And Frank, you certainly have done that. You have changed the culture. 84 years is a long time. And again, in all seriousness, he's very much committed to making sure we don't wait another 84 years. Actually, remember how you said maybe maybe. All right, I'll give you a little time. But to be picked last and to never win in 84 years, congratulations to our baseball program. So in closing, we're going to need your help to continue to create special. We're going to need your help. And we're not going to be shy in asking for your help and anyone else's help we can ask for. Because our student athletes are just that. They are special. And we're going to have the courage to think about how we create special to continue to raise the profile and raise the standard and raise the brand of Hofstra University. We'll do our part as we believe we're a spoke in the wheel of this great place. But it will take all of us. It takes our athletes, it takes our coaches, our cabinet, our donors. It takes us all. Everyone is going to be a player in that. Everything matters. Everyone matters. So we invite you back often, and I ask that to join us, to not be bashful, to help us raise this great organization. If you spent any time with these men and women on the course, you'll realize what special is. So thank you for helping us create special, but most importantly, for expecting it for many years to come. Have a great evening.
Ladies and gentlemen, Director of Athletics, Rick Cole Jr. Thank you, Rick. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we would like to recognize members of the Hofstra Athletics Pride Club Board in attendance with us tonight. Pride Club President Anthony Paratini. Emily Corzel. Linda Caruso. Steve Kiernan. And Joe Corello. Just want to take a moment to remind everyone again about the silent auction. There is still time to make your bids on the great prizes available. Thank you, and again, thank you for all of your generous support. Ladies and gentlemen, time now for our golf awards. Now, by raise of hands, who played today? Keep your hands up if you played well. We have 1, 2, all right. If your name is called, Jerry, if you want to raise your hand, Jerry Hushman into the corner in the room, you may see Jerry to collect your award if your name is called. First awards for our longest drives. Longest drive for women on the second hole, Bella Tortino. Longest drive for the men in the second hole, Doug Gannon. Bella's celebration just a touch more boisterous. Closest to the pin, fifth hole with a winning distance of 2 feet 10 inches from the pin, Jennifer Moan. Eighth hole with a winning distance of 11 inches from the pin, Bob Herber. 11th hole with a winning distance of 8 feet 6 inches from the pin, Mike Ryan. Fourteenth hole with a winning distance of 14 feet 5 inches from the pin, John Gorman. All right, so I have the winners of the 50-50 $20 golf ball raffle. We will reveal those later on. Team awards. Our winning team with we actually had a tie today with a combined score of 63. Won in a match of cards, of course. The winning team, ladies and gentlemen, Russell Cammey, Roger Gerland, Elizabeth Irving, and Peter Lom. Congratulations to all our winners. We are now going to present 2 special Hofstra Athletics Pride Club Recognition Awards, starting with the Jack Lenz Award. The Jack Lenz Award is presented in recognition of exceptional and dedicated service for more than 20 years to the Hofstra Athletics Pride Club and Hofstra University Department of Athletics in support of athletics and academics. This year, the award is presented to Dr. Beth Rosenberg. Dr. Rosenberg graduated from Hofstra University in 1979 with a Bachelor of Science in Health and Physical Education. She was a member of the Women's Lacrosse program in its infancy, as she was a part of the first varsity team in school history, coached by Hall of Fame coach Dr. Natalie J. Smith. Following graduation, Beth would earn her Doctor of Education in Exercise Physiology from West Virginia in 1983, and then her Doctor of Medicine from the Medical College of Pennsylvania in 1991. Dr. Rosenberg completed a residency in internal medicine and a fellowship in cardiology at the University of North Carolina, and then worked as a non-invasive cardiologist in Chapel Hill for 20 years. Dr. Rosenberg is currently a primary care doctor and provides cardiology services for Piedmont Health Senior Care. Please join us, ladies and gentlemen, in recognizing the 2022 Jack Lenz Award recipient, Dr. Beth Rosenberg.
I'll try and be quick here. I'm really honored by this award. Hang on one second here. Sorry about that. A 1,000 times, right, exactly. Oh, well. Anyway, I give to the student athletes here because of my experiences at Hofstra. Hofstra provided me with an incredible academic foundation. It provided me with a sense of confidence that I didn't even know I had. And it provided me with an appreciation for fitness as well as my everlasting love of lacrosse. We've come so far in the last, 45 years, I think? You know, I'll bet nobody on today's lacrosse team had to sleep on a floor in a sleeping bag on a field trip. And I'll bet your coach and team captains don't drive you to away games. That's where we were 45 years ago. That was the infancy of our team and the infancy of Title IX. We've come a long, long way, and I'm really proud to be a part of it. I feel like our student athletes, our kids, should have the same opportunities as I did. I had to work 3 jobs outside of playing lacrosse, and I played field hockey too. But my hope is that by providing some support for these student athletes, they'll be able to pursue their degrees, they'll be able to pursue their love of athletics, and they'll be able to pursue their dreams. So it's been my pleasure, and I plan to continue for another 40 years, God willing. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, our 2022 Jack Lenz Award recipient, Dr. Beth Rosenberg. Ladies and gentlemen, our next award is the Joseph M. Marciada Award. This award is given by the Hofstra University Department of Athletics in recognition of extraordinary dedication, generosity, and service to the Hofstra Athletics Pride Club and Hofstra Athletics. This year, the Marciada Award winners are Anthony and Catherine Paratini. Anthony, a 1987 graduate of Hofstra with a degree in finance and had a distinguished career as a member of the Hofstra men's lacrosse team during his undergraduate years, and his 26 goals and 36 points in 1984 led the team. He has worked for the last 36 years in the commercial equipment financing industry and currently serves in a leadership role with Signature Bank. Catherine is a graduate of Stony Brook University, where she earned a degree in economics. Both Anthony and Catherine are longtime supporters of Hofstra Athletics, with Anthony serving as president of the Hofstra Athletics Pride Club since 2017 and as a member of the board of directors since 2013. The couple have been members of the Hofstra Men's Lacrosse Hofstra 100 Club since its inception as well. The pair were also honored in 2013 at the 25th annual Hofstra Pride Golf Classic. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our Joseph M. Marciada Award recipients, Anthony and Catherine Paratini. Ladies and gentlemen, our 2022 Joseph M. Marciada Award recipients, Anthony and Catherine Paratini. We thank you for your continued support and generosity towards Hofstra University athletics. Ladies and gentlemen, time now to begin our Hall of Fame inductions. We would first like to acknowledge all the Hofstra Athletics Hall of Famers here in attendance tonight. Please stand when your name is called. Linda Caruso. Coach Speedy Claxton. Kathleen Dernan. Coach Bill Edwards. John Frew. Andrea Henson. Laura Nissen. Elizabeth Parisi. Dr. Nathalie J. Smith. And Zach Wright. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for all of our Hofstra University Athletics Hall of Famers. Ladies and gentlemen, our first Hall of Fame inductee is one of the top lacrosse coaches in the nation, John Danowski. During his tenure at Hofstra from 1986 to 2006, he compiled 192 victories and a .610 winning percentage. He had 15 winning seasons and advanced to 8 NCAA tournaments with 4 NCAA quarterfinal appearances. Coach Danowski's teams were ranked in the final top 20 polls 17 times during his 21 years, including a number 2 ranking in 2006. A 3-time USILA Coach of the Year, he went on to win 3 national championships at Duke, and his 443 career wins are the most of any Division I lacrosse coach. He has also coached Team USA since 2015 and led the team to the 2018 World Championships. At this time, we will hear testimonials from former players and current CEO of USA Lacrosse, Mark Riccio, and Hofstra head men's lacrosse coach Seth Tierney, followed by a video acceptance from Coach Danowski, who unfortunately could not be here with us this evening.
Everybody, hello, and thank you for the opportunity to allow me to speak on behalf of Coach Danowski. To summarize my relationship and my thankfulness for Coach Danowski in 2 minutes is one of the more impossible tasks that I have ever been met with. But with that being said, I owe him everything. He taught me how to coach. He taught me how to respect and understand the occupation of coaching, the impact of not just X's and O's, but the bigger impact off the field and the impact that this man has made on so many lives. The stories are endless. The learning after losses are endless. The wins, the celebrations, the preparing, not only just at Hofstra University, but with Team USA, and most importantly, life. The guy has always called me back when I needed some advice, whatever my colors were at that point in time, or whatever my situation was. For us to be back on the sidelines, to win a gold medal for the United States of America, and to have another opportunity to do that this summer coming up in 2023. So to Coach Danowski, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I would never be anywhere close where I am today without your guidance, the opportunity you extended me, and the leadership and mentorship that you forwarded to me throughout all of our hours, minutes, days, years on the sideline together, in an office together, or certainly on a phone together. This is truly a great honor, and for me to speak on your behalf makes me feel unbelievably thankful. Congrats on the Hall of Fame at Hofstra University, John Danowski.
First and foremost, Coach Danowski, congratulations, a well-deserved honor. 2 stories I want to share that exemplify who you are as both a coach and a human being. The first was, I always remember at practice, you would say, when you're feeling your worst, that's the day that you've got to show up and be your best. And that is something that I remember not only on the field, but I've taken off the field, and I've shared that advice not only with my teams through the year, but my kids. And that is incredibly valuable, and I'm grateful for that. The second is, most recently, you gave a tribute around the anniversary of 9/11 on Long Island, and I had so many people reach out to me, incredibly touched by your words and your generosity. And I think those 2 stories exemplify who you are as a coach and a human being. You have given so much to so many young men and so many young women along the way in terms of what lacrosse and this game can do for them. And you've provided so much opportunity. Your impact is profound. So congratulations once again. Thank you personally, thank you professionally, and wishing you nothing but success in the years ahead.
Greetings from Durham, North Carolina. I wish I could be with you guys today. Unfortunately, the schedule at this time of year is jam-packed, and we're going to do the best we can here with today's video. First, to understand how important this award is to me, you have to go back and really appreciate the history that I have with Hofstra University. As a child, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, I went to Calkins Gymnasium, watched Steve Nisenson, play for the Flying Dutchman. I rushed the court with a bunch of friends of mine in junior high when Wandy Williams sunk the winning basket against Iona. I watched, Don Galt at Temple, and, broke my heart when Hofstra lost 35-31 at Temple when I was in 9th grade. So I grew up, idolizing the men, the women who were associated with Hofstra University, my entire life. My brother is a proud Hofstra graduate. He's got a master's degree from Hofstra as well. And so from an early age, I was hooked. There was nothing better than Hofstra athletics. Years later, to be named the coach at Hofstra, it was a dream come true. The people, the coaches, the support staff, the players, obviously everybody too numerous to mention today, but were an incredible impact and influence on my life. Made me a better person, made me a better coach, made me a better teacher. We had challenges. The highs were incredibly high, and the lows were like they were low. But at the end of the day, the place forged who I am, forged my character. I was given an opportunity by Robert Getchell. I was given an opportunity to become an assistant athletic director by Jim Garvey. I was given an opportunity to become a full-time coach, and for that I am so grateful for the experience that I've had. I'm here today because of that experience. A couple years ago, Keith McKeel, former Hofstra lacrosse player who's now an assistant principal at Oceanside High School, asked me to speak at the high school. And he said, Coach, afterwards, a bunch of guys want to, they want to see you and they want to, they would like to get together. So after I spoke at the high school, we went out to a restaurant locally in Oceanside, and about 10 or 11 guys came back. And it hit me that Hofstra was the right place for those guys. And when we were successful, and even when we weren't successful, Hofstra was the right place for so many students. At the end, when I think about that day and I looked around that room, and I remember asking, at that point, just about everybody was married, everybody had children, everybody had careers, whether it was in education, guys were coaching, guys were giving back to the game of lacrosse, guys were in business, but guys were happy. They owned homes in Nassau County, which is not easy. They were successful. And so I think about, what our mission was when we were there, and how we helped, in guiding these young men, to a place where they could be successful, and then it was up to them. But Hofstra was the right place for them. Hofstra was the right place for me. I never thought that I would ever step away and I would never make a jump somewhere else. After being there for 21 years, I never interviewed and never went anywhere else. But at the end of the day, kind of a higher power came calling. And if it wasn't for my son, and if Matt wasn't here at Duke during that period, I never would have applied for the position. I never would have. I would have thought that they're out of their minds here. I can tell you this, at the end of every season, when the season is over and it's time to have that last meeting and we have a senior dinner, just like we had when I was at Hofstra, the biggest compliment that I can pay to any of these guys here at Duke is that you could have played at Hofstra. Because of the toughness, the grit, the character that the Hofstra man was made of. I'm very proud to accept the award on behalf of all our assistant coaches, all of our former students, all of the people who had an impact on my life. James Stewart, who cared about athletics and cared about our program. And congratulations to one of my peers, Cindy Lewis. Just congratulations. I love you all. Thank you again.
Congratulations to Coach John Danowski. Ladies and gentlemen, before our next inductee, we have some business to take care of. Our $20 and $10 golf ball raffle, and to help me do just that, we are going to welcome to the stage our two Hofstra University soccer coaches. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Hofstra University men's soccer coach Richard Nuttall and Hofstra University women's soccer coach Simon Ridioff. All right, so we will direct our attention to the raffle. Not sure exactly what's raffle thingy. Give it a spin. The first one is for $10 golf raffle with the lovely and talented Richard Nuttall.
And the winner is, drum roll everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we hear it for our dynamic host this evening, Coach Richard Nuttall and Coach Simon Radioff, and of course, congratulations to our winners. Back to the inductions. Ladies and gentlemen, our next inductee, Laura Walker Carlson, is one of just 2 national champions here at Hofstra history. Laura won the 1982 AIAW Division III national title to cap off a 21-0 season that saw her earn All-America and All-East Region accolades. A 1983 graduate with a degree in sociology, Laura worked on Wall Street as well as in the retail industry, pursued a law degree, raised a family, cooperated a successful franchise of Pinkberry yogurt shops, and is currently involved in politics in her hometown of Fairfield, Connecticut. Let's hear her thoughts on Laura from her coach, Hall of Famer Fran Califer, and from her husband, Jamie.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak about Laura and her accomplishments at Hofstra. I'd like to congratulate all of the new Hall of Famers. What an impressive class. I'm really delighted with each and every one of them. As I recall, this national championship that Laura Walker won was, well, first of all, she is only one of 2 at Hofstra. Hers was for tennis, and I think the other was wrestling with Nick Gallo. So it's pretty impressive. Laura went undefeated for the entire season. Not only undefeated, she did not drop a set. And in the finals of the national championship, I think she beat her opponent 6-4, 6-0, which is, she routed her. It was really impressive. Also, I recall that the national championship that we went to, Laura enabled the entire team to go, because in regionals, because of the amount of points she got and so forth, and we came in 3rd, so everybody was able to go. And where did we go? We went to Wisconsin. And Wisconsin was supposed to be an outdoor tournament. Unfortunately, it was snowing. So we were playing everything indoors. It was really impressive for me because, as I recall, which was a number of years ago, it was my first season in tennis at Hofstra, and it was my first year coaching at Hofstra, along with volleyball. But so Laura helped to set the bar very, very high for my career. She was really every coach's dream to have a player like Laura Walker walk into their program. I knew I was very lucky to be able to work with her. And my only regret was that I couldn't get her to play another year. She was a very bright student, very motivated, and she was very focused on her academics. So 1 year was it. And she did get a mention in Sports Illustrated. I think it was one of those faces in the crowd. But I'm sure that she's gone on to do some really wonderful things in her life.
The first time I saw Laura, she was at the train tracks at Hewlett, and I was taking the train into the city from Lawrence, and I saw her standing there. She was a kid, you know, she was just a kid, and she was wearing knee socks, a red jumper, and she had her hair in braids. And there was just something about Laura that struck me and hit me at that time. And we started dating, and she was thinking about going to Maryland. And I said, you know, Laura, you really should stay local. Maybe you should think about Hofstra. And she did. And she went through that tennis season. She never felt good about any match. She always thought she was going to lose, or, you know, something wasn't right. And she breezed through the season. I think she dropped one set, went undefeated, won the regionals, and then went to the NCAA Division III championships. And it was in Madison, Wisconsin. And she would call me after her first match and said, you know, I beat this girl. And I said, that's great, you know, how'd it go? And she was like, I don't feel good. I don't think I'm going to win. There's so many better players than me. And of course, Laura won. She didn't lose a set, I believe. And she went undefeated that year. And she also maintained a perfect 4.0 grade point average. And Laura is the epitome of competence and humbleness. She's never once bragged about it. She's never mentioned it. She is just so good at everything and thinks she's so bad at everything. And that's what's so endearing and, well, part of what's so endearing. She's lived her life in an exemplary fashion. She's been an amazing mom to our 3 kids. She's been an amazing wife to me. She was an amazing daughter to her mom and her dad, who both passed away, and to my parents, who both passed away. And I could share 40 years of stories, but none of them would do the whole thing justice. So all I would say is to my beautiful wife, the most beautiful person I know, inside and out, we're so proud of you. Have a great day.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the newest member of the Hofstra Athletics Hall of Fame, Laura Walker Carson.
Sorry, I'm a little wiped out from that. Didn't expect that. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you all so much for awarding me this, for being here and awarding me this prestigious honor. I want to thank Len Scores, Brian Graff, and Jessica Kalbfleisch, all that they've done to make this day possible. And to be here at Seawain has a very special meaning because Jamie and I were married here in 1986. So it's, life comes full circle. I was completely in the dark that I was even being considered for this award. Actually, it was my husband, Jamie, who was sitting there with my 3 children and 2 of them with their significant others, and my friends who came to support me had no idea they were coming, and they played golf. Thank you. Thank you. So Jamie was the impetus behind me receiving this honor. Jamie was chatting one day with a friend about my tennis career, mentioned that I was a Division III national champion when I attended Hofstra University. Unbeknownst to me, Jamie went on Hofstra website and saw my picture still being used and wondered why I wasn't in the Hall of Fame. I had an undefeated season and hadn't dropped a set in the Nationals, so he decided to reach out to the athletic department, and the next thing I know is I received an email from Brian Graff asking if I would be up for Where Are They Now segment for their website. Brian told me that since I was only one of 2 national champions in the entire program's history, he, along with Stephen Gorshoff, wanted me to share my story and what I've been up to since I left Hofstra. Well, when our Zoom meeting started, Brian immediately told me there was no Where Are They Now segment. It was just a ruse to tell me that I had been selected to be in this year's Hall of Fame. I was so humbled. And as Jamie has been telling me since that Zoom call, just taking the fact that 40 years later, this accomplishment is still relevant and noteworthy enough to be included in this year's Hall of Fame, and I should be so proud. I am. This is so meaningful. Thank you, and it is meaningful to me and my family. So I originally started my college career at Rollins College, a Division I tennis university in Winter Park, Florida, where I played number 6 on the team for 2.5 years. Unfortunately, it was a pretty difficult time for me personally, as my father had a stroke in my freshman year and suffered severe brain damage until he ultimately died my junior year. My whole world had turned upside down, and trying as I might to make the best of it at Rollins, it was pretty tough for me. So being on that tennis team offered me a little solace for my personal pain. Unfortunately, the tennis coach didn't have a ton of tennis knowledge, believe it or not, for a Division I school, and less of a sense of how to foster camaraderie among her players. So I never felt a sense of calm and a kinship with my team. It was a lonely time for me. And at the time, Jamie was my boyfriend, who suggested that I wanted to transfer, and he suggested, don't think about Maryland, because my brother was there. He goes, why don't you come home, close to home, go to Hofstra. So I listened, then I transferred, and I joined the tennis team. So once again, Jamie intervened to the betterment of Hofstra and me. The contrast between the two teams could not have been more striking. Coach Fran Califer was truly a coach who provided motivation and emotional support. Thanks to Coach Califer, I had an undefeated season, and she was always a positive force behind me. Our team made our way to the Nationals at University of Wisconsin at Madison during my junior year. I won the singles championship without dropping a set. The whole team was in my corner, and they couldn't have been more instrumental in helping me achieve my victory. Fran and my teammates were the perfect antidote to my personal anguish. I truly felt at home. I wouldn't be here today, though, if it wasn't for my husband, Jamie. While he was not at the Nationals tournament in person, he was there with me in spirit. I would call him collect on a payphone. Remember those? Before and after every match. He always provided me with just the right words to build my confidence. It was always thrilled for me as I won each match. He was especially helpful to me before my semifinal match. I was set to play Nancy Sharkey from Monmouth University, who I previously beat during the regular season in 3 hard-fought sets. I remember that match like it was yesterday. It started out with just the team players watching, and then it culminated with a whole huge home crowd cheering me on. It was a great feeling to have such support, and I know it helped propel me to victory that day. However, playing her again in the national championship, I felt a lot of pressure and self-doubt that I could possibly pull off the victory again. So I called Jamie to assuage my fears. He gave me a pep talk and told me to just play each point, get lost in the process, and not the result. Jamie's advice worked, and I won easily in 2 sets. And as he's always been throughout my life, Jamie is my biggest supporter, so thank you, Jamie. And on that day, I, of course, couldn't have won without Fran and my teammates, who always wholeheartedly pushed me to be better and helped me give me the confidence to win. Transferring to Hofstra was one of the best decisions I made in my life. I was able to be close to my family during a hard time and to be near Jamie. I found a home at Hofstra where I excelled academically as well as on the tennis courts. I am so grateful for this Hall of Fame honor. And if I've learned anything over these last few months, it's never too late to be recognized. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Laura Walker Carson, the newest member of the Hofstra Athletics Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, our 3rd Hall of Fame inductee is Bridget Eder Harris, a member of the Women's Lacrosse program from 2002 to 2005. Bridget is one of 4 two-time All-Americans in program history and is the only first-team All-American after earning that distinction in 2005. She holds the program and CAA record for ground balls in a career with 229 and was a 2-time CAA Defensive Player of the Year. Following graduation with a degree in physical education, Bridget would spend 2 years as a collegiate coach before returning to school for her doctorate in physical therapy. She is currently a school-based physical therapist for the Montgomery County Public Schools in Maryland. We will now hear former coach Shelley Clace and her teammate, Hofstra Athletics Hall of Famer Kathleen Dernan, offer their thoughts on Bridget's Hall of Fame induction.
Hello, everyone. My name's Shelley Clace, and I'm so excited to be back with you guys. Hello, Hofstra. What an honor to be here talking about Bridget Eder. I'm so excited for you, Bridget, that you've been brought back to the top. Being able to be asked to be, to remember you, reminisce about you, it just brings back so many amazing memories. First and foremost, your personality, Bridget. I just remember your smile. I remember your sense of humor. You had such a incredible mindset about you, and that helped you to deal with all of the challenges that came your way. You were an incredible student. You had a rigorous major. You had endless injuries during your time, and nothing stopped you from going after your dreams and your goals. And because of that, you were a huge part of the success that we had in my time at Hofstra. The ability to work with athletes like you, your explosiveness, your mentality in games. You were willing to take risks. You were around every ground ball that existed. I think you led the nation that year in ground balls. And that didn't stop you, You went after the ball, you caused turnovers, you broke up play all over the field, and you were a huge inspiration for the defensive unit. I remember just the comfortability I had when you carried that ball down the field. You had such speed and tenacity, and you were a defensive player that were willing to take the team on your shoulders and score goals. I've been doing this for 20 years. I've had very few players who were willing to impact the field the way that you did. And the fact that you did that through injury and through not being able to be participating in practices on a consistent basis, you continue to be an inspiration to me and the athletes that I work with now that have those same obstacles. I talk about you all the time. If Bridget Eder can do it, anyone can do it. So I'm just so proud of you. Congratulations on everything you did for Hofstra. I hope this is an opportunity for you to reconnect with the Pride, a place that gave you an incredible lacrosse competitive experience. It was such an honor to coach you. I miss you. I hope you're doing well. And I'm excited that we get to honor you at this event. Congratulations, Bridget Eder, totally deserving of Hall of Fame at Hofstra University.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kathleen Dernan, and I had the honor and privilege to play with Bridget for 2 years. Since I also play soccer, I didn't meet Bridget until the spring. At one of our first practices, she was told she had to mark me every day. Here I was thinking, who is this freshman, and why is she marking me? I always joked around with her that her success was due to our daily battles. I can now admit, years later, that because she marked me, she attributed to my success. If you had the opportunity to play with Bridget, you knew that she was committed to excellence, motivated, determined, dedicated, and hardworking. These attributes were tested when she was injured and needed surgery, not once, but 3 times. Not many athletes can come back faster and stronger like she did. She marked up on some of the best Division I lacrosse players and kept them scoreless. She was a beast on the field, leading the team and conference in ground balls, draw controls, and caused turnovers. She was also a scholar in the classroom, a true role model on the field and in the classroom. Off the field is a different story, but we're going to have to take those stories with us to our grave. Our time at Hofstra was memorable, both on and off the field. Bridget helped pave the way and set the standard for Hofstra women's lacrosse for the next 2 years. It was an honor and pleasure to play with one of the best lacrosse players to come out of Hofstra. I am honored to be here tonight to help you celebrate and receive this well-deserved and distinguished honor. I am proud to call you a Hall of Famer, but even more proud to call you my friend. Welcome to the Hall of Fame. It's about time.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the Hofstra Athletics Hall of Fame, Bridget Eder Harris.
Thank you so much. When I left my small hometown of Maryland, I thought I knew what I was getting into when I came to Long Island, but I was really wrong about that. My 4 years at Hofstra were amazing, and that was due to the fact of the people that I was surrounded by, and of course, the sport of lacrosse. I was lucky enough to have the same head coach for 4 years at Hofstra, Shelley. She was a great teacher, motivator, and true competitor at heart. She never allowed us to settle and wanted to see each of us succeed. Her leadership was a vital reason for why our team was so successful during our 4 years. She understood there were times to have fun just as much as there were times we needed to be serious and focused. Thank you, Shelley, for your lasting impact on me as a person and a player. I also want to thank all the assistant coaches I played for during my 4 years. Not only did each of them help me to become a better lacrosse player, but they were also pillars of support both on and off the field. They were always willing to stay after practice to work on lacrosse drills or just be a listening ear when we needed. My teammates have always been one of the best memories I had of Hofstra. You never know what's going to happen when you have 20 plus young women together for extended periods of time. However, we truly pushed each other to be better lacrosse players and better individuals. We were each other's support systems day in and day out. Now we've been bridesmaids in each other's weddings, our kids play together, and I know I have lifelong friendships. There are several people behind the scenes who I'd like to thank from my time at Hofstra, and those include the athletic trainers and the student athletic trainers. When I was a know-it-all 19-year-old kid, it made perfect sense to me that I should be able to practice 3 days after dislocating my knee. I did not win that battle with the trainers. I spent countless hours in the training room, and as you've heard, even though I had 3 orthopedic surgeries during my 4 years, I never missed one regular season game. And that is attributed to the knowledge, hard work, and lots of patience that the trainers had with me. As a defender, we don't always get recognized for what we contribute to our team because we're not the ones scoring the goals. I never would have received any of the awards or accolades over the years without the hard work and effort of Steve Gorchoff and the communications team. Thank you for not only acknowledging myself, but also the women's lacrosse team. I'd like to congratulate all the other inductees tonight. I'm honored to be a part of this group and share this day with you, especially to Cindy Lewis, who has been such an integral part of Hofstra athletics, including women's lacrosse. Cindy was always on the sidelines of our games. She was always giving us support when we won, and she was very kind with her words of encouragement even when we lost. Thank you for all that you've done and you continue to do for the athletics program. My family has always been my greatest support system. My parents loved coming to our games and watching us play. Growing up, they knew how to help me reach my potential without pushing me too far. My siblings always followed our team and they wore their Hofstra gear proudly. But because I was the middle child, they always made sure to put me in my place when needed. I'd like to thank my husband, who even though he wasn't around at this time, he's now supporting me and he's very happy to be here. And he's a big fan of lacrosse now. And lastly, to our 4 little girls at home, they may be the reason that I feel forever tired and our house will never be clean, but they are the absolute joys of my life. I will continue to share my love of Hofstra and lacrosse with them. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bridget Eder Harris. Ladies and gentlemen, our 4th inductee tonight is Liz Curley Messmer of the volleyball program. The first American Volleyball Coaches Association All-American in program history. Liz was a member of the team from 2003 to 2006 and played a key role in leading the Pride to their first ever NCAA tournament victory in 2006 over Cornell. A middle blocker, Liz ranks in the top 10 at Hofstra in kills, hitting percentage, and blocks. She was the 2003 CAA Rookie of the Year and the 2006 CAA Player of the Year. An exercise specialist major at Hofstra, Liz would go on to earn a doctorate in physical therapy and is currently a physical therapist in a nursing and rehabilitation center in Congers, New York. Let's watch as Liz's former coach, Laura Netherby Sewell, and teammate Dana Peters offer remarks on Liz and her Hall of Fame career.
Most people that know me well know my memory is not so good. So I usually have to ask Stephen Gorchoff or Frank Califer to tell me the details of my time at Hofstra. But Liz Curley is very hard to forget, not just because of her height, but because of the kind of student athlete that she was. I had the pleasure of coaching her in the last 2 years of her career. And Fran, of course, gets all the credit for recruiting and developing her skills, because I'm pretty sure Fran said she was like a baby giraffe when she arrived on campus. But my job was just to put her in a position to be successful and get the heck out of her way, which most people wanted to do on a volleyball court. But Liz was so cool because not only was she a terrific student athlete, she was terrific in the classroom. She was a good friend and teammate, and she was easy to coach. But the funniest thing about Liz, she, don't let her fool you, although she may have changed by now, but back in college, she was very quiet. And sometimes I remember asking her for her opinion or her thoughts on something or wanting her to speak up. And she always had this shy kind of way about her and didn't want to be that vocal person. But man, she put her leadership on display on the court. She was one of the only student athletes that I ever coached that could physically start a four-step approach, stop in the middle of it, stop all of her momentum, which is the whole purpose of a approach, change directions, so move to her right, and then just finish her last two steps, jump and attack a ball and hit it about the 10-foot line. And I don't remember who designed that. That was probably, it sounds like an Elaine Roquet thing, but she would fool everybody all the time. Blockers would line up in front of her and they're like, oh God, I got to stop her. And, they'd often try and double block her, which they just wanted to slow her down or take away those really sharp angles that only she could hit. And man, she would just go running at them and then stop and turn to the right and boom, she'd just clobber it. And those were like the best memories because everybody on our team would just lose it. Everyone on the staff would sit back and just be like, oh my gosh, it was so awesome. So she was so cool to watch. And then this quiet little personality, but she's a beast. Don't let her fool you. I know what goes on under there. So Liz Curley, you deserve this. If I could have replicated you on every single team I coached, I would have. You were a pleasure to work with, and man, you were a dang good player. So congrats, and I wish you the best.
I was lucky enough to be roommates with Liz for 3.5 years of my time at Hofstra, teammates for all 4 years, and I just have to say that there's no one more genuine or just wonderful as Liz. She was kind of like a quiet support, whether that was on or off the court. She was always there for you if you needed something personally or on the court when a big play needed to be made. She was just always the one that was prepared to make the play that got the game-winning point. I kind of think of her as a silent assassin in a way. She didn't really need a lot of the praise or the excitement on the court. You just knew she had this look on her face that she was just she wanted the ball and she just wanted to make that play. So Liz was just always reliable, wonderful person. We had a lot of great memories. We lived in C Square together. And our window was right by the booth where all the kids would swipe in to get to their dorms. So we had a lot of fun together during those times. I'm sure she'll have lots of memories that I'm not going to bring up right now. But Liz, you are a wonderful human. You are a fantastic teammate, and I consider you a wonderful friend. And I'm so proud of you. And you just deserve this honor. There's nobody else I could think of more than you that deserves this. So I hope you can enjoy it and celebrate it, and how cool that your 2 little girls get to look up to you and see you getting this award. So congratulations, love you, and miss you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our newest Hofstra University Athletics Hall of Famer, Liz Curley Messmer.
I really thought my days of receiving awards were over, and so receiving this tremendous award is such an honor and such a surprise. I feel so lucky to be a part of the Hofstra family, and it all started after Fran and Elaine came to watch one of my practices when I was in high school. I had never been so nervous, but afterwards they offered me a position on the team, and accepting it was one of the best decisions I've ever made. Being a student athlete at Hofstra was a surreal experience. I was telling my sister about my life while I was at Hofstra a few weeks ago, and she really just couldn't believe it. I was with the best group of girls you could ask for, and we were led by the most amazing team of coaches and staff. We were able to travel all over the country, stay in beautiful hotels, and we were really treated like queens. And to top it off, I got to play the sport that I loved. I owe my success in college to the people I was surrounded by. I was lucky to have the most talented teammates who I think made me look better than I actually was. Especially Shalane Agoshi, who was inducted into the Hall of Fame a few years ago. Without her perfect sets, I never could have done what I had done. I'm so grateful to all the staff that supported me while I was at Hofstra. Fran, Elaine, Steve-O, Cindy, just to name a few, Lauren. I want to thank my parents who couldn't be here tonight, but are watching live streaming. They'll always be my biggest supporters. They drove me for countless hours to games and practices and tournaments, and they spent a small fortune so I could be more successful in volleyball. I'm just starting out with all of this with my own kids, Madeline and Abigail, who are here tonight and who are just getting involved in sports. So work hard and maybe you'll be up here one day. Lastly, I want to thank my husband, Mike, who I've been with since I was in high school, and who has supported me through it all. It's such an honor to be inducted into this class of amazing athletes. Congratulations to all of you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Liz Curley Messmer. Ladies and gentlemen, our fifth Hofstra Athletics Hall of Fame inductee is one of the men's basketball program's all-time greats, Charles Jenkins. A member of the program from 2007 to 2011, Charles scored a school record 2,513 points and was a two-time All-American and CAA Player of the Year. He ranked second in CAA history in scoring behind NBA legend David Robinson, and was a three-time Haggerty Award recipient as the top player in the New York metro area. He was also caught up in a social media phenomenon. Many of you may remember during his playing time, there was the Chuck Norris facts. Well, back when Charles was playing for Hofstra, there were the Charles Jenkins facts. And one of those facts was that Charles, an active player, had his number retired before he retired. His number 22 jersey retired before his final home game in 2011. A second-round draft pick by Golden State in 2011, Charles would play for the Warriors and Philadelphia 76ers in the NBA before embarking on a stellar career overseas. We will now hear testimonials from his former coach, Tom Pecora, as well as teammate Cornelius Vines.
Well, it's my pleasure to be here and to talk to you about Charles Jenkins, as I affectionately called him, Chuck. He was an incredible athlete to coach. I remember in the recruiting process, one of my assistants at the time, David Duke, came back and talked to me about this young kid at Springfield Gardens High School, which had been a city power for years and years, and then had dropped down to the B division. So a lot of people didn't get an opportunity to get in or didn't do the hard work to get in to see a lot of B-level games, and Charles was just killing it on that level. And when I went in to see him, the first thing in my mind was, why in the world isn't this kid playing football? With that body of his, you know, he was built like a professional cornerback or outside linebacker, and I watched him play, and I was impressed. And then when I met him after the game, I was even more impressed. And as the process in recruiting went on and meeting his wonderful family, his parents are just off the charts, just great people. I could see why he was the young man he was. He came to us and had a hand injury and didn't play his freshman year, but once he got going there, his growth as a player year in and year out just got better and better. And like all great players, he could have the ball in his hands at the end of a game, and he wasn't just going to make the shot to win the game. He was going to make the play to win the game. And we had a long tradition of great guards at Hofstra that started with Speedy Claxton, the head coach right now, and it continued with Charles. Charles going and winning the Haggerty Award 3 years in a row. I mean, that's hallowed ground in New York City basketball. The only other players to ever do that, Chris Mullen and Jim McMillan at Columbia years back. So the impact he had on our basketball program He was able to make a mediocre coach like myself look like he knew what he was doing, and his impact on the campus. I mean, he's just a warm-hearted, big, loving person, and he had a lot of people that cared about him, and a lot of fans came to that game, not just because Charles Jenkins was the basketball player that he was, but they were coming to those games because they had a connection, and they knew the kind of man that Charles Jenkins had become, and he was endeared by many. So it's my honor to be here. It's my honor to spend some time with him. And there's nothing greater for coaches than to see those young men turn into the kind of grown men that Charles has done. So congratulations, Chuck.
First off, I want to congratulate my brother, Charles Jenkins, on being inducted into the Hofstra Hall of Fame. That's big time. Being able to share the floor with him, but also being able to have a relationship with him off the floor. To this day, I cherish my friendship with him. I know if I call, he's there to listen, always picking up. Vice versa, same. If he calls, I'm there. From one friend to another, I just want to say how happy I am for you to accomplish and achieve this goal. Knowing you and how humble you are, this is just another milestone for you. I'm just blessed to be able to, again, like I said, I was able to share the court with you, but also just build a relationship beyond basketball. Our friendship is like no other, and I appreciate you for everything. Off court, what makes Charles a special person, well, a great person, he's willing to give you his shirt off his back, literally. From the first day I stepped on campus, he showed me the ropes, what needed to be done, how to do it, the right time to do it, when and where, and how to do it. But what was special for me is you don't find too many people that probably just bring you to their house without meeting you. And till this day, I can call and ask him, like, where your dad at, man? I'm coming over. Tell dad I'm coming to see you. So for me to build that relationship with his parents too as well, it's kind of that's special to me because, like I said, that's not everyday thing. You just don't build a relationship with somebody's family. His on the court competitiveness is like no other. He's gonna push you to the limit, and he wants to be pushed to the limit. What it means to me to have my friend in the Hall of Fame, it felt like I made it, man, because he made it. So again, bro, congratulations. I'm super proud of you. This is just another accomplishment, in your lifetime.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the newest member of the Hofstra Athletics Hall of Fame, Charles Jenkins.
Brother's looking down, super proud of me tonight. I'm such an honor to be here. I'm really like lost for words. Especially when you hear your friends, someone that you talk to all the time, say those kind of words to you, because we argue almost every day. So I know how you really feel. For starters, I grew up not too far from here, Rosedale. It's the next town over. And Hofstra is actually 20 minutes away from here driving. And if you're driving really fast, you might get there in 10. And it's so funny that that my dad and I, we hugged and cried when I packed to go to school, but we got to school in 20 minutes. So it wasn't really like the movies, when your dad is standing in the rear view of your car and you cry as you drive off. We actually went back to the house later that night because I didn't bring anything, so it's amazing. But firstly, I want to say thank you to Hofstra for nominating me to be in the Hall of Fame, and it's quite the honor. I have an amazing amount of relationships in here, and my girlfriend and I, Alyssa, we kind of went back and forth last night about my speech, and I told her that I don't want to stand up here and say thank you to everyone that helped me, because Jessica told me I only had 5 minutes, but there is a lot of people in here I'm thankful for, and it'll be a disservice to you if I don't say your name, so please bear with me while I thank the amazing people that have been a part of my life while I was at Hofstra. First and foremost, I would like to say thank you to Coach David Dukes. He's the coach that came to recruit me. My dad been telling him since I was a sophomore to come check me out, and he listened when I was a senior, but it's okay. I didn't really get the full college experience, this high school experience where you get the box of letters and cards, but I was able to build a great relationship with Coach Dukes. He believed in me from day one. He pushed me to take the SAT. He's been nothing short of amazing to me. And a quick story, I don't know if you remember, so when I was a redshirt freshman, Coach Dukes came and he was like coming from the gym, wearing the gray Hofstra athletic shirt that everybody know about, and he asked me to come to the PFC, which it was at the time, to get some shots up. I never worked out with him, I always worked out with the grad assistants, and he said, shoot 5 shots here, and I shot 5, I made him, and then he said it was his turn. And I was wondering, like, are you training me or yourself? And we proceeded to do this, and after he asked me if I wanted to play one-on-one. Now, as being a freshman, it's kind of tough. I had a lot of great guards ahead of me, and Coach Dukes used to always tell me about Speedy and what Speedy did, and after a while, I got tired of hearing what Speedy did, and I wanted to let Coach Dukes know that I was, trying to make a name of myself. So long story short, I beat him pretty bad that day, really bad. I remember the scores, but I won't say them. And we sat down after, and he said, if you continue to work hard, you'll be Rookie of the Year. You'll be Player of the Year. He said you'll have a chance to get drafted and make a lot of money. Now, I don't know how much you. And, also later I found out that he was also training for a tournament that he played in later that night. So, I don't know how well you played that night, but I do know that everything you told me, I listened to, and I was able to say thank you for that time that we spent, those conversations that we had, and try to be everything that you wanted me to be that day. Thank you, Coach. I appreciate you so much. To Coach Pecora, you're my guy, man. I don't know where you are in the room, but for sure, my guy, man. We hear like so many stories about like coaches and players, and of course you pushed me, and you said so many amazing quotes to me, as a player. But one of the like main things that I remember is our first game of the season. We played Holy Cross my freshman year, and I had 5 points and 9 rebounds. And we lost the game, and I didn't feel good at all. Fast forward, we ended up playing Manhattan, and I played pretty well, and it felt good because I redshirted, and it was my first big game, so I kind of like felt like somebody the next practice. I walked in a little bit later than I normally did, just because I felt so good. And it was like just a possession that I didn't play as hard as I wanted to. And this one thing he said to me, it just changed my entire life. He screamed, yesterday's news, yesterday's news. That's what he kept saying, yesterday's news. Now, there's 14 other players on the court, so I didn't think he was talking to me, especially how good I played. He said, yesterday's news, yesterday's news. He said, you come to my practice, you play like this, everybody already turned the page. They don't know what you did yesterday. He said, attention is like cologne. He said, a little bit is good, too much is tacky, and if you drink it, it's poison. Don't drink the poison. And from then on, I've been able to be the most humble person. I appreciate our conversations in the car. I appreciate you telling me how to work the room, smile, tell everybody your full name, meet at the web, wear a sports coat. I didn't get the clean shave thing yet, but one day I will, man. I really appreciate our time and everything that we've experienced while I was here. Mike DePauli, great guy, man. I appreciate all those rebounds, man. All my stats that everybody talk about, you know the real Charles. You know the one that missed 100 shots, who kicked the ball across the court because I couldn't make a shot, man. I really appreciate you as well. Steve Racefield was here my first season. We came in as freshmen. He was one of the guys that I came to his room all the time after those hard practices and asked him, why is coach saying my name all the time? There's so many other players here. And two things that he told me that I won't forget. One, he told me if coach don't say your name, then he don't notice you. And the other thing he told me was that he will always have my back. So when we had a new coaching change, he had the opportunity to go somewhere else, and he did it. He stayed. So Steve, wherever you are, man, I appreciate you. You're my brother forever, man. I have my family here, my mom, my rock, my dad, two hardworking people, man, people that I appreciate. I watch their sacrifices so many times. I watch my dad work 2 jobs, take a 1-hour nap every Saturday and wake up and take me to all my games. I watch my mom, my rock, my breast cancer survivor, fight through, keep getting surgeries, letting me know that she's not leaving and she's still here standing today, man. I appreciate you both the most. If you're any smart man, you must think the woman that you sleep next to every night, and my amazing girlfriend is here. You look beautiful. I know you didn't go to Hofstra, but we watched enough old games, and I reminisce so many times that you know everyone in the room, man. I have my best friend, Daquan Batts, my first friend in the world, Drew, my man Balaam, my 2 teammates, Cornelius Vines, who had an amazing speech for me just now, and Detective Lester, another former teammate of mine who, if you guys have any issues in here, don't worry, he's off work tonight. And everything's okay. Bill Hogan, amazing guy, wearing this super nice white blazer, looking great, never missed a Hofstra game and knows everyone to the best of his ability. And my best friend Drew, my cousin Kenneth, his nickname is Loco because he's a little crazy sometimes, but we love him and we appreciate him. Hofstra gave me a bit of the relationships that I built at Hofstra has made me the person that I am. And one person I for sure want to commemorate is Speedy Claxton. Speedy has been the bar since I got here. He's also been my motivation from when I first got here. He was wearing big earrings, big chain, drove a big car, and he talked trash all the time. As someone from New York, it's a goal to be able to do what you've done, and I've tried my best, and you've also been an amazing helping hand for me throughout the way, and I appreciate you as well. A couple of people I don't want to miss, so sorry. I'm running over time. Jessica's probably upset. Terry Ryan, amazing guy. J.R. Tinian, 2 guys that we had these relationships since I was in school, and they continued throughout while I was here, and it's going to continue when I'm done, when I get up to the stage. If I need anything, you guys have been there for me. Jay Hernandez is not here. Coach Mokasara, Rachel Peel, one of my favorite people. I appreciate you so much. I got you a second team All-Academic, and we share that. I appreciate that. And Colin Curtis, the whole Hofstra staff that continue to keep me a part of the university, even though I graduated and play professionally. Lastly, I like to credit my toughness to my parents, my mom, and my work ethic from my dad. But there's one person in here that deserves a lot of credit, and we had a conversation in the backyard not too long ago because she saw someone that I knew, and they referred to her as Charles' sister. Now, to me, but she expressed to me that, you know, she's never her real name. She's just always Charles' sister, and it didn't sit well with me because my sister's my hero. Everyone knows my story. Everyone knows that my mom is a breast cancer survivor. Everyone knows that my brother passed away when I was 22. That's where I wear the number. But nobody knows the true person that raised me when my parents was at work. Nobody knows the person that held all the secrets that I had. Everyone don't know that person. They don't know the person that, when my parents didn't want to buy me the expensive clothes, the person that gave me half the money so I could figure the rest out. She raised me. She created an amazing safe space for me to tell my secrets and be myself. And despite all my accomplishments, when we hang out every time, I'm still your little brother. So I would like my sister to stand up. I want to Just in case you guys never met her, I want to formally introduce y'all to my beautiful sister, Eleanor Riley. I love you so much, and I appreciate you. Congratulations to all the inductees. Hofstra, thank you. You're in my heart forever. And everyone have a good night. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Charles Jenkins. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to invite back to the stage Rick Cole Jr. for some remarks before our final Hall of Fame inductee.
So I appreciate your patience. I think that everybody, as the evening goes long, everyone deserves such incredible recognition. But this is the time we get to honor Cindy Lewis. And as most of you know, it's been mentioned tonight that Title IX, we have now celebrated our 50th year of Title IX. As a country, as in 1972, the Educational Amendment Act, Title IX, provided to provide the opportunity for equal opportunity. Every institution has pillars, right? Everybody's got pillars. Athletic program had pillars. There's lots of awards. Our Hall of Fame is decorated with just the most inspiring of people. But I think that just description, the most inspiring of people, is a summary of Cindy Lewis. She's been here for 42 years, I believe. Because of COVID, we just celebrated her 42nd year. But the truth is there's not a Saturday or Sunday that I come to the office that the light isn't on. She's just always there. She's the woman that puts Hofstra and everyone in this community before herself. She's the coach. She was the student athlete. She was the mentor. She's the administrator. She's the role model. She's a friend. And to so many, when you talk about Hofstra, the name that often comes up is in fact Cindy Lewis. She is synonymous with Hofstra athletics. She is Hofstra athletics. She is Hofstra. She asked the question by her behavior, and she's incredibly, painfully uncomfortable with any recognition whatsoever. So most people feel a little uncomfortable when they're getting honored. We are torturing her right now. So I invite each and every one of you to make sure you visit Cindy and tell her how wonderful she is before she leaves. In 1986 is the first time I was on this campus. It's the first college athletic event. I remember Cindy like it was yesterday. I could tell you exactly where she was sitting. She was a smile, and she was moving all over the place. When I got the job 4 years ago, there was an exhale, because anytime you go into any new environment, you never know what to really expect until you get there, and then you're there for the full year to find out everything. But I knew I was going to be okay, Cindy, because you were here. So, on behalf of the hundreds and thousands of people that you've touched, thank you, we love you, and you deserve all of this.
Thank you, Rick. And what cannot be said about our final Hall of Fame inductee, Cindy Lewis? If you've been part of the Hofstra family and you look around this room, and if you've ever been a part of this family, then you know what it means to be a part of the Hofstra family, the Hofstra athletics family. A student athlete at Hofstra in field hockey and lacrosse, a coach at Hofstra in field hockey and lacrosse, an administrator and a beloved mentor and friend to countless coworkers and former and current student athletes. Cindy has seen Hofstra's growth firsthand and has been around for many of the department's biggest moments. Well, tonight, ladies and gentlemen, is her moment. We will now hear from a pair of Hofstra Athletics Hall of Famers and former Hofstra coaches, professors, and administrators, Dr. Nathalie J. Smith and Dr. Sylvia J. Giolombardo, as they offer their thoughts on Cindy Lewis.
It's my good fortune to have had Cindy Lewis as my friend and colleague for so many years. She's a very caring individual who has always been mindful of the needs of others and in the fairness of the treatment of both men and women, student athletes here at Hofstra University. She continues to be a strong proponent for equality of opportunities. She's really a terrific problem solver who sees the right things to do. She finds the solutions and gets things done to the benefit of those students, their teams, and the programs here at Hofstra University. Over these many years, she served in many capacities in the athletic department as an administrator and has done a fantastic job for us. Just ask all those coaches, athletes, and fellow administrators she's worked with over those years. She definitely deserves to be inducted into the Hofstra Athletics Hall of Fame.
She fills all those questions. I've known Cindy, for many, many, many years. And when she first came in, her high school physical educator called me on the phone and said, "We have a young lady here who's not sure she wants physical education. Will you let her come in, sit in on a class?" Absolutely. So she came in and sat on my methods of coaching class. Not as a student, she just came. And she kind of liked it, so she joined the program. That's how I first met her. And she quickly loved being in the program. That's where my first contact was with her. And then slowly, she came in and she helped out in the office, got to know the process, et cetera, et cetera. And then she graduated and then I left. And she became an assistant. And then from there, she just grew into the position and helped out wherever she could, learned the process, learned all about it, was very good at it, very passionate about it, was a kind person, and always smiling. You always could get her to make you smile. No matter what she was asking you to do, she made you smile and say, "I love to do that, Cindy, anytime you want." To this day. Anyway, she was very meticulous in doing everything. So all things that she did in the phys ed program and in the athletic program, really, that's where she was shining. Because I think she experienced that I was handling both the phys ed program and the athletic program for women. So she saw the things that I had to do, etc. And so when I left and I thought, well, if anybody was going to carry this program on and be helpful, she would. And over the years I've kept tabs. I've not come to campus except for the awards banquet. And she's kept tabs with me and what's going on. And so I watched her grow. And I said to myself, I hope they understand who they've got here, that she is a contributor beyond, quiet, doesn't need big fanfare like a lot of people do, just was very, very quiet about getting things done, getting people to help, and having fun doing it. And that has always been a key, because if you hate what you're doing, it ain't gonna be fun. So she got that her contribution is enormous. And I'm glad that they began to recognize. And of course, as the two programs, men and women's athletics, combined more and more, and she stayed up in that line, that was a good thing. And I think Hofstra has benefited enormously with her presence. And she's well deserved of being in the Hall of Fame. Before me, because she was there, active. You have to be around to make things happen. Because if you're not around to make things happen, you can say, "Oh, you should do this." And then you go off in the sunset and do your own thing. In the meantime, she made sure things happened quietly. And I love that about her. She's a kind soul. That's Cindy.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the final member of the Hofstra Athletics Hall of Fame Class of 2022, Cindy Lewis.
Thank you all very much.
I do want to acknowledge and thank Dr. Susan Poser, President of Hofstra University, the Administrative Cabinet, and our Director of Athletics, Rick Cole, and all the employees in our athletic department. This is a very, very special honor for me. I also want to acknowledge Joe from the CAA, our commissioner, especially came, and I think especially for me. So thank you very much. I do want to congratulate all the inductees today and all of the inductees of the past. We're in a very select group of people that love Hofstra. I never imagined that my career would begin at Hofstra. I am the first in my family to attend college. It was really because my high school teacher and coach, Pamela McCormick, suggested that I look into attending Hofstra. She went out of her way to speak to her neighbor, Dr. Gio Lombardo, about me and how I could contribute by playing field hockey. It wasn't easy convincing my parents that I wanted to attend Hofstra, and I had to find a way to pay for it, despite being the first recipient of a field hockey scholarship for $400. I started as a math major, as Dr. Gio Lombardo indicated, but I ended up changing my major after just one semester. I found myself loving sports and the many physical education staff surrounding the athletic department. I even threw Dr. Gio Lombardo, the then physical education chairperson, a curveball. As a second semester freshman, I wanted to join her junior coaching class. Well, she brought me into her office, we talked about it, and she let me try the class. She never let me fail, as did my classmates. They never let me fail. They were there for me and they wanted me to succeed, and indeed I did. I was coached by very successful teachers in my time at Hofstra, notably Dr. Kathleen Smith. She took many of the physical education students and athletes from other sports to form a women's lacrosse team. She taught most of us how to play the game. She organized schedules, and we did certainly try to do our best. No one wanted to let her down. During my master's program at the University of New Hampshire, Dr. Gio Lombardo reached out to me again and asked if I would come back to Hofstra and coach field hockey and help with lacrosse. She created a full-time position for me between coaching the two sports and teaching undergraduate classes. I won't tell you how much I got paid, very much. My 42 years working at Hofstra has flown by very quickly. In the blink of an eye, I went from being the youngest in the department to being the second oldest, and I won't tell you who the oldest is. It's quite unusual for someone to be at one place for such a long time. I'm blessed that I've been the someone who cherished my experiences and accepted the challenges. We made big strides with Title IX in women's sports. Once we started offering athletic grants to female students, the horizons opened up on how competitive we could be. Slowly, we morphed from taking peanut butter and jelly sandwiches with us on the road in 9-passenger station wagons that we drove to actually being able to have a meal in a restaurant and travel in vans and buses. While we didn't have it all, we never complained about it. We made good use of what opportunities we had and what friendships we created. Today, we sponsor very competitive teams in all of our sports. Our goals are very different than that of 25 years ago. We want to win championships, garner awards, and be proud of the efforts we put in to make Hofstra well known on the map. I want to thank my family who's come here today to be by my side. My sister Doris, my nieces and nephews Stacy, Alyssa, Rob, and Kyle, brother Danny, and sister-in-law Gina, Dr. Kathleen Smith, my idol, Karen Ingvolstad and Pat Rayner, our Hofstra alum, Dr. Beth Rosenberg, my teammate and friend, all my work colleagues and all my special friends, especially Linda Caruso and Kathy Thiele. Thank you to Rick Cole, who changed the rules of the Hall of Fame so that he could induct me. The day he announced that I would be inducted was at a department meeting. He called me up to the front of the room, and I got really nervous. I had no idea. The only thing going through my head was, this is it. They're going to retire me. Never, ever thinking about the Hall of Fame. So Rick, you got one over on me. My time at Hofstra has taken me to see all kinds of competitive programs at schools large and small. I've had the opportunity to be the chairperson of the Division I National Volleyball Committee and a member of the Women's Lacrosse Committee, as well as serve as site representatives for many championships. I hope that during my career, I've contributed to the betterment of our student athletes. Being in the Hofstra Hall of Fame is very special. It's a recognition of all the things that I accomplished behind the scenes. In many ways, I felt that I've been part of a greater good. My time working at Hofstra has flown by. In my career, I've gone from just loving playing sport to just loving watching our student athletes play their sport. I thank you all for being part of my journey with more years to come.
Ladies and gentlemen, Cindy Lewis. Congratulations, Cindy, and thank you for everything you have done for Hofstra Athletics and that you will continue to do so for Hofstra Athletics and for Hofstra University. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that about concludes our program for tonight. It has been a special night, a night where you've seen former legendary players, coaches, and Hofstra icons dedicated to the Hofstra Athletics Hall of Fame. We congratulate them, thank them for what they have done for Hofstra University and what they will continue to do for Hofstra University and continuing to inspire us, continuing to motivate us, and continuing us to push for greatness for Hofstra Athletics and Hofstra University. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for the 2022 Hofstra Athletics Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, the silent auction and raffle are now closed. Please see Jessica. Where's Jessica? Jessica called Fudge. She's out there, so you will see her to pay for and collect your items. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you enjoyed the evening. We hope to see you again next year. Please arrive home safely. Thank you again for attending, and thank you for all your contributions